That was way before Ring and doorbell cameras. I think a child might be able to fit through there, but wait, what's going on with this? Why is this, it seems like it's under pressure. You got these two big beams right, and look how deep those panels are. Whenever Tom was digging into these panels, they pulled it apart and they found a plane in there. That's how big this thing is. What in the world? So we're gonna go on a tour and look at all the kind of carpentry details that we did at this house behind me. We're here in Dallas, Texas, and we're gonna do our final walkthrough now and kind of show you guys what we accomplished and really just some awesome details. Shout out to Brent Hull for letting us do all the carpentry work on this house. This is a 1920s Charles Dilbeck house. He was a famous architect, regional architect in this area. And this is a kind of storybook cottage style. Got a little bit of that Spanish to it. It's got this drunken brick coursing, so the brick isn't perfect. It's irregular, but the number one kind of landmark detail of this house in this neighborhood is that entry door. You've got this awesome Pecky cypress in this arch with this brick arch around it. One of the coolest entries on a house ever. Let's walk through it. I'm gonna show you guys details that we did, but also some stuff that we didn't do, just that I think that you'll find interesting. So let's enter through here and we'll get this tour started. This will be like kind of like a carpentry detail tour. Like I said, the Pecky cypress door, if you guys followed, we had to adjust this. This house kind of sat a little bit neglected for some time, and the door was kind of cocked. It wasn't really opening and functioning right. The Pecky V grooves weren't lining up exactly. So we came in here and worked our magic, got this thing working good. And I actually just fixed this doorbell today. I'm not like a doorbell technician, but I could handle this. This is the original doorbell, this brass ring, but I replaced the cord on it. We'll go in and you'll see, pulling the brass ring. That was way before Ring and doorbell cameras. We're talking the 1920s here. So you hear that, you come to the door, your neighbor has a cup of sugar or something that you asked for, that you text your neighbor. The first thing I noticed is this turn kind of newel post. So check it out. You got this big chunk of timber that you'll see through this house, but the end of this timber has this kind of turned piece to it. It's just kind of funky, kind of groovy. And then another key feature is the staircase balustrade. It's plaster and it's got these sections cut out of it. So it's got these kind of angled with the same angling rake of the staircase cut out. I think a child might be able to fit through there, but this gets grandfathered in as far as code is concerned. But it does feel like the right height. Handrail is nice and chunky. Feels good to grab that handrail as you go up. But we're not gonna go up quite yet. We're gonna head into this dining room. This is the first room you're gonna enter after the entry. Oh, let's back up real quick. You're gonna notice, like I said, these timbers everywhere through this house. That cottage feel to me, I just love old timbers, and they're kind of chamfered on the edge and they stop about 8 inches from where they engage into the wall. Got a big timbered section right above you supporting the second floor there. And these are actually supported. I got up and looked down in the bathroom above this, the master bathrooms there, and you could see these timbers being supported by the framing. So pretty cool. As we come this way, we enter the dining room and you've got this Pecky cypress kind of V groove pattern with this kind of twist and ball feature. So you see it's kind of like a twist and a ball, a twist and a ball. Kind of like reminds me of a bead and reel if you're familiar with federal details, but this is way more massive. And that twist and ball is actually made out of plaster. The guys got in here and they were gonna do some refinishing on it. And they actually considered restaining this ceiling, but after they stripped that Pecky cypress away, I think they just decided, obviously, I know they decided to go back and paint it because they couldn't strip the plaster and get it back to normal wood because it wasn't wood, and that's what they found out. But the dining room, beautiful room, kind of takes you through this vestibule if you want to go that way, or it takes you down into this sunroom, which is another awesome room, or you could go that way into the kitchen. So you really got some options. I apologize for everything being here. We're kind of at that final stage where we're getting them moved in and doing the punch list. But here's a funny thing. This post right here was rebuilt by Hull, and I'm glad they did because this thing was cracking. And we were like, wait, what's going on with this? Why is this, it seems like it's under pressure. You got these two big beams right here meeting, and this post is supporting it. Surely there is not, this isn't just supported by brick. Surely they would not do that. But sure enough, the guys got in there, they popped off a brick, kind of looked through, nothing there supporting it but this cylinder shaped brick. So they put some temporary bracing up here, busted the original one down, and then now we have an actual steel beam holding that together, and then went back with that kind of original drunken brick course, and I think it looks amazing, and now it's actually safe. So let's go back through the kitchen. Now this whole entire kitchen was reimagined, and these beams were original, but that whole cabinet section is new, and the guys, our team, was able to scribe that new login above the whole range and everything, and they did a great job, because this house, being the kind of nature of this house and what it is, it was so funky, like just the characteristics of it. You've got this kind of plaster ceiling that's all just kind of troweled on there, so it gives it that storybook feel, but that makes it hard when you take a straight beam and put it up against a storybook troweled ceiling. You have to do some serious scribing. So John, the guy holding the camera right now, they scribed this out, and it looks like it's always been there, which is what you want in a historic remodel like this. Countertop that just got installed yesterday, and all of our window sills and all like profiles of shelves had this kind of double bead detail, and they were able to bring that in to the countertop. So that double bead that you see there goes throughout the house. You'll see it on some shelves we made over here, like back in this pantry area, this arch. This was a really cool thing that a guy on our team, Tom, did. You guys know Tom Kaizen fence guy. He built these out, little niches in the brick that got this kind of custom millwork that we did. We did this half round going around as a casing. That was original to the house. There was half rounds all throughout this house on the first floor. And then we had what we called, oh, well, here's another one. This was another original one. And we built this space out. But we had another molding that we called pig's feet. And that was this one right here. So if you look at this molding, it's kind of got this hoof look to it. Very, very different, very unique. Never seen anything like it. So this thing projects off the wall 1.5 inches, and then it's, what is it, 2.25 wide. So think of a 2x4, right? That thing is projecting off the wall as thick as a 2x4, as 1.5 inches. And we've got these giant pocket doors. Oh, there's actually a latch here. I'm used to being out at the ranch and having to grab them up here because there's no hardware on them yet. But look at this giant pocket door right here. This is original to the house, and look how deep those panels are. Like, look at the scoop on that raised panel. That goes in probably 7/8 to 1 inch from here to the scoop down there to where it meets the coping stick. But just a beautiful, beautiful double pocket door, actually. So you can section this off. But we did all this cabinetry in here. Countertop on that side, still waiting over here. But let's head our way down to this hall. So we've done a circle now. We're back at the entry. And if you go this way, you'll see you can go left down this hall. And we rebuilt these shelves through here. Well, the shelves they're not original. They come from a remodel, and we know that because these are plywood shelves. So we didn't redo them. We kind of left them. But we did have to rebuild these boxes entirely because whoever did the remodel wasn't necessarily a good steward of the house. They kind of just tacked something together, put it there. Camera probably doesn't do it justice here. You've got this barrel, ceiling, and as you come down here, you've got all these kind of decorations illuminated. But then you have two spaces in here. You've got a little closet that is going to be one of the homeowner's offices. I actually built this one. This was a really cool thing I was happy to do. One key feature in here, you'll see these floating shelves. So I have those shelves in between the tongue and groove. So this tongue and groove that's below the shelf is a different piece than the one above it. And they're helping support the shelf and then the ones on the sides are really what's helping keep the shelf stable. So I put all that in, and then, like I said, our double bead detail that I was talking about is the nosing of everything. You can see it's our window stool over here. We built this desk with these drawers, and again, I apologize for all this stuff here. I'd love to show this to you guys when it was like all finished out and everything. I just don't think we're gonna be back when that happens. So that's a little office, and then we did this little powder bath vanity. And this thing has a cool scallop detail under it, and it's illuminated down there. And we did these, it's called puffy doors. This is just something that a designer dreamed up or saw somewhere. And we got basically like an 1.75 inch piece, glued them up, and then Tom actually sanded these down to give them that kind of pillow effect. And he did a great job on it, because they're actually, it looks like a giant raised panel, really soft. It's really coming together. I get excited when things get to this point. As we go through this vestibule area, it kind of opens you up to this common area where you can go back to the sunroom, back through the dining room. Now we're on that other side. And then we have this area that's called a surprise bar. This was originally a coat closet, and they're calling it a surprise bar because they open these doors, surprise, there's a bar. We built these cabinets, they're panel ready. I think ice maker, little fridge, and then obviously a place to hold the bottles and everything. So that's a pretty cool area. Then you have another, this is a cool area. We've got this tongue and groove Pecky cypress ceiling with these beams here. Now this one actually is purely decorative. I know these beams are not the actual joist here because we had to open this up and replace some pieces, but still a really cool detail here. And then you've got this kind of bed mold crown shelf up here. He used this rope. This isn't rope molding, this is actual rope. And he kind of did this timber frame casement, and then kind of did this rope, like a real rope. So I've shown this in the past, and people are like, what? That is crazy. Like it's just true rope. So he brought in some texture into his millwork. One thing that always jumped out at me, and I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but check this out. This is what I was talking about earlier. When you try to put a straight thing in this house, say you take your level and you put it on something, you're gonna be scribing to stuff. Because look at this door. So I'm right here, I'm higher, and it slopes down pretty aggressively, and the camera might pick that up. Oh, you could see it here. If I measure from the top of the door to my glass stop, I'm at 7, and then over here, I'm 6.25. So this door has been aggressively cut to fit the opening. So that is pretty interesting that he has these kind of odd shapes. He didn't want really square edges in this house. He wanted everything to be that kind of storybook. And then as we make our way through this vestibule, we go down into this area, another wing of the house, where you got something I've never seen before. This is a French Dutch door, because it's French because of the fact that there's two, it's a double door, but it's Dutch because of the fact that this door splits in half. That's what we call a Dutch door. So you can close this area off, just have it open. You could have it completely closed off. You could have it half open. It's up to you. You've got options. This is 1928, you know, and this is a fancy thing right here. But these are really cool doors. These are, again, that giant scoop in that raised panel. This one has another step in it. The cope and stick's a little bit different. You've got these kind of buttons right here. They look like kind of pegs holding this thing together. You make your way through here. This is kind of a hangout lounge / tavern spot. So this is where you would have just little hangout parties, and this is original to the house as well. Notice all the timber framing up there. We've got really crazy millwork in here, this wall of raised panels, and then it's crazy. You got this timber frame with this kind of bracket supporting it. And then this cabinet right here was a gun cabinet. You can see in there the places where the shotguns or rifles would be sitting against the little notched out areas. All original leaded glass, all original cabinetry, relief carvings of this kind of leaf up here. You've got that half round reappearing, some kind of minimalistic crown. Look at this detail right here. I mean, this is like a little scoop and then a sharp edge, and it comes down and it scoops again. And it does that 3 times on this corner on both sides. And then down here, he put them back to back, so you got this huge shadow line between them. On your doors, you've got this pyramid motif where these come up to almost be like the Great Pyramids of Egypt without the capstone. But that goes throughout these doors. Again, you have on our countertop that double bead reappearing. I mean, look at the creativity that this guy had. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, well, that ain't my style. You know, that's kind of crazy. And I'll give it to you. It is kind of crazy, but for some reason it works in this house and I really like it. Another giant firebox right here. And as we make our way back here, we've got this bar. This bar is original, was built by the craftsman back whenever the house was constructed, and it's got this curved scallop detail. So this piece right here, they had to probably steam bend that or something, because that's a piece of 3/4 solid wrapping around this. And this is just a little kind of bar with a shelving back to it. You could see why I said in the beginning, if I covered every detail in here, we would be here for hours. But interesting note here, whenever Tom was digging into these panels, I think Tom and John were kind of rebuilding this wall because it was in disrepair. So this whole wall got redone. Tom opened up in here, I believe it was either in this section here of this rail or up in this panel. They pulled it apart and they found a plane in there, like a wood plane.
Things you find in the wall. Look at this. An old, see, I thought I saw a Craftsman on it. Yep, Craftsman.
Tom got a little relic, a nice little free gift there, and finders keepers. So we'll head up here, and again, you get to kind of see this balustrade of this plaster with this cutout in there. I like that he didn't do just a solid wall. He left it where you can kind of see through and see what's going on, a little bit of open space. And I love these windows. You've got these eyebrow arched windows here. This is a French casement, so these will open up and swing out. These were open earlier today. Beautiful November weather, and the chill was just coming through. It was perfect while we were working in here. But a lot of this kind of original plaster work was redone because whoever did the remodel had opened up this thing. There was a big double door here that wasn't original, and you can tell because it looked kind of like kind of not done so well. So they went back over this, and I think the plaster company did a great job making this blend in with the original plaster work here. But you're up here in kind of the common corridor area. Let's take a left over here because Tom and John really killed it on this. Oh, before we get in here, we rebuilt all these doors. So we took an original door, we sampled the profile, got knives made for it, custom knives, and rebuilt just about every door on the second floor, minus one, the bedroom door down there. And now she wants us to rebuild that one. So we must have done something right. So we came in here, or we'll come in here, and this is obviously one of her daughter's rooms, and it's a beautiful room. Love the designer here too as well. She did a lot of good choices with wallpapers, with moldings, with kind of closet layouts. But Tom and John just killed it on this closet. You've got this big double door right here. I actually don't want, they're moving their stuff in. I kind of don't want to go in here, but trust me, this thing is cool. I just don't want to get into their personal items. So we'll step into here. We've got this bathroom attached to this room. Interesting wainscot in here that she chose to go with. I'm talking about the designer, and I actually kind of like it. In the middle of the stiles, there's a V-groove. So what we did was we just built individual panels. Imagine these as picture frames, and then we just put them in place. And it looks kind of empty without a cap, but there will be a marble cap in here that runs around this space and kind of cap that off. Close this so you guys can see a shot of this. Yep. And if you remember, I was framing all of this back in those videos. Like it's so crazy to think like this house used to just be completely just opened up and gutted, and we redid it all. In here this is the laundry room. We did a T&G in here and built these kind of basic cabinets, nothing to really write home about. But this is kind of the master suite. And I do want to give a super shout out to Whole Millwork here, because they built this closet and they killed it on this thing. You step in here, surrounded by panels. This is all new quarter sawn white oak. They've got this glass with this X pattern going across it, this little kind of leaf motif. This is going to go right here. So where that joint is, they're going to attach this right here, and I think that's really going to tie it together with all the quirky things of this house, kind of give it a little bit of flair. Awesome. I love when you walk through somewhere and you've got this giant panel jamb. Like this one is super wide. Back this way. Whoa, that's a cool view. I know it's dark outside, but look at those lights. What in the world? That is too cool. That's your view out of your back window for the holiday season, for the master suite here. Someone's going off with the Christmas lights over here. That is really cool. Dang. I should do that at my house. All those trees I have.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Free nights.
I'm doing it. Free nights. Yeah. And then I know I mentioned earlier she wants us to remake this door. And just so you can see why, this is one of the original millwork items. And look at the damage on it and kind of the disrepair. We wanted to save as much original stuff as we could. That's why we salvaged this and wanted to keep it. But after she saw our doors kind of being fresh and new, she's like, I kind of get the fact that it's original, but I don't want it to have all that damage. And I do not know what that damage is from. So we'll head this way. This is to the other two kind of bedrooms of the house. And we did this door here. There's a really cool hangout spot in there, but the family is in there kind of hanging out. So we're not going to go in there, but we did build this door. All we did was cut our stiles and rails. I just dominoed all of this together. So we got big 14mm dominoes in there. I got some 12s in here on the muntins. And then this little arch, same thing. It's just all dominoed together. So that worked out really well. And then above me, we've got this timber framing that I'm imagining originally maybe wasn't painted, but obviously it is now, and I like it. I do like painted timber. It's a really sweet bathroom, and this place is bright. You might have to adjust your settings, but I love everything about this bathroom. We've got this kind of checkerboard floor and these little 3-inch tiles. The cabinet man did a really good job on the cabinet here, custom cabinet. And then coming here, this is the final room. Our tour's coming to a little close here, but give John most of the credit on this one. He redid all these walls. Well, not all of them, but these two main walls on the side here, those had to be rebuilt. New paneling, new of this kind of batten going down vertically, new casing, new stools. And one of the things to point out here, you know, it's getting late on our tour, it's getting late in the day, but I'm kind of glad because you typically aren't going to see the way the lighting design works in a daylight video, but here we are, evening time, and you can see where the lighting designer is so crucial. You've got these lights, these soft lights that kind of hit and really make this a cozy spot. Very relaxing space with the colors they chose. This is above the garage, so if you're looking at the front of the house, we just walked across like where that bathroom was. That is like a little bridge across, and now we're standing above the garage. So pretty cool. All right, guys, there you have it. There is a quick walkthrough of some of the details on this house. I could have spent hours in here, like I said, looking through some of the all nuances and just minor things that jump out at me as I'm walking through, seeing what's going on, rebuilding stuff in here, looking at the wall cavities. It was truly a remarkable project, and I want to thank everyone involved. Brent Hull, thank you for letting us do the carpentry here. The homeowners, awesome couple, thank you for being so accommodating. Chris Massey, project manager, Tom, John, Richard, everyone. There's another Richard, I'm not shouting out myself. The whole crew who helped us on this, really making this come together, all the other trades. But look at this thing. I've actually haven't seen it in the evening like this, and look at the brickwork and everything. It's coming to life even at night. And I'm noticing more stuff, so I gotta stop. We're gonna call it here. Thanks for following us along on this one, and we're on to the next one.